Christopher, it seems that you've got 3-point perspective down. These drawings look good. The one little discrepancy here might be with the area there in the foreground in your second drawing, assignment 3. I'm not sure what that shallow horizontal diamond shape is meant to suggest, or whether this is a sort of fortified city up on a hill. There's a lot that's really nice about this drawing. You've taken on some difficult building forms and you've drawn them with success. They look right in the perspective. It's even amusing that you've included this plane, which is drawn from a view one would expect if it's a worm looking upward with a worm's eye view. I'd say work on finessing your drawing style. Seek a language for foliage. Let lines that are far be faint. Hi Dana, things look good with your assignment 2. And with assignment 3, I know we looked at that before. There are just some little matters that could be attended to. You know, the last time I looked at it, I didn't actually draw a right side vanishing point on the horizon, and I did that this time, and I see that the roof could slope a little bit more in keeping with 3-point perspective. Also, there are small areas where things could be fixed, such as the shape of the sign that says opera, the shape of the group of doors there on the right side of the building, and also the columns. Hi Christina, you know, I can see that you've been working very hard in these drawings. They look good, but the perspective isn't quite right. And actually, I was talking about this issue of having more than 3 VPs in a drafts review, and I do want you to take the time to review what I have to say in those with care. So take a look at the drawings that I've drawn over the work you've done. The lines in yellow are indicative of the perspective as it should be given the VPs that you're using. Wow, Sarah, these drawings are really looking proficient. You know, for future, I'd be very interested to see a draft of your work in progress. Post a photo of a drawing that's underway in the draft review for future. Now, I took the bird's eye view and analyzed it, and while there are some areas that are just right, there are other areas that need to be corrected. So take a look. I've only corrected half of it. I think you'll get the idea. The worm's eye view looks okay, and I also feel that your assignment 3 looks good. However, you might want to apply the same tests to it that I applied to the bird's eye view. Hello, Nicole. Things look good here. I think I've reviewed all of these in their current versions in the past, so take a look at drafts reviews. You know, with the assignment 3, I'd say a little more finish wouldn't be a bad idea. Well, hi, Abram. Looking at what I've got here, it appears that there are 2 worm's eye views for your assignment 2. Now, I'm not sure how that happened, but I did find your bird's eye view drawing, and I've marked that up here so that it works with just a single bottom VP. So all the blue lines proceed to one vanishing point at bottom, and this is what we're looking for with 3-point perspective. Now, with your assignment 3, I think things are difficult here because you've got a faceted building and it's facing front. I think you're going to find the 3-point perspective works better if we've got a corner facing front. So essentially, you've got a building with sort of chamfered or beveled edges. And things work well enough until we get to that bottom right building, and I believe one of your classmates made a remark in a critique about the doorway not looking quite right. So I took a look at that, and I've made some notes. That building bottom right is the one, given its simpler form, that is easier to portray in 3-point perspective. So that's the most typical view. Notice how I drew a circle in perspective at the top of the door in order to get that archway correct. Luz, your worm's eye and bird's eye view drawings look just right. With your assignment 3, I'd say you're not getting the benefit of all you could learn from the assignment because of the cylindrical forms of the building. And I know it's mentioned that you could add cylinders in the assignment. And so really, it's not that you've made a mistake at all. It's just that you have more opportunity to really utilize the 3-point perspective when you've got a boxy form. Just one more quick note here is that with your bird's eye view, there is one box in the foreground whose bottom doesn't quite match up with the other boxes. And if you wanted to consider this to be a city view, you could do what I've shown you here in the markup. Hi, Claybert. You've done some good work here. I'm interested in this bird's eye view one with the windows cut out of the walls in the frontmost box, and the right rear box looks as though it's a sort of room, maybe with a clothes washing machine in it, for example. Now, taking a look at your assignment 3, everything seems to be accurate. We're going to be talking about shadows and light sources coming right up, so that's something to consider. I noticed your solution with regard to the road was just to remove it, but if you think back to week 2, putting a road or a sidewalk in was called for in one assignment, and it certainly does help lend an atmosphere of a city, for example. Hi, Belinda. Things look okay here. One thing I want you to work on is letting the lines that are guidelines be pale. They should be less dark than the lines that show the structure of what it is you're drawing. Now, with your bird's eye view, I'm just guessing here. I really don't know exactly what you have in mind, but I'm thinking that maybe there's a sort of cube-like box, and there's a fence, if you will, at the back left and right of it, and sitting on top of it are a couple of smaller boxes, including one that's pointy and appears as if it's hanging over the top edge, almost like a periscope. So taking a look at your worm's eye view, just want to be sure that you're using your orthogonals correctly. Notice that we don't want to connect from the corners of the structure, but actually the walls themselves are connecting to either the top, right, or left VP. And taking a look at your assignment 3, I was thinking, you know, the flag looks quite flat and parallel with picture plane. If you want to increase the quality of illusion, you may like to distort its shape in a manner not unlike the wall of the building below it. Also, I'd say it might be a little odd to have it attached right on the corner of the building. It could be a little off to the side, for example. Hi, Shalyn. I'm glad that you are able to go back and rephoto your drawings now. I've been telling everyone since the start of class that making photos out of doors is going to give you a far better result than trying to photo indoors under artificial light. So believe me when I give you a suggestion. I'm glad things are working for you. Now, let's see. I think you may be having some problems not unlike Belinda's, where you're connecting the corners of buildings to the VPs, where what you really want to do is connect the entire wall or ceiling. So I've done a little markup here. If anything is not clear, you can inquire with me. There are some areas that are quite correct, such as tops of buildings in the bird's eye view. Looking at your building that says Shalyn on the side, I think that that's your assignment 3. You can see that the buildings all need to veer in toward one top VP. And also, I didn't get it perfect, but I was working on your name, trying to get it to recede properly on the plane of the building there as a sign.